Setting me on there before I come on air with you.
That's all right. That's all right. Will, how are you?
Good.
So it's been a really good night, a couple of nights for the English sides in Europe. Going well for Arsenal tonight. Liverpool last night destroying Porto, and Manchester City, a record win for them. Spurs coming from behind against Juventus. Going to chat about that with John Giles. And then Graham Hunter will join us on the football show to look back on Real Madrid's win over Paris Saint-Germain. Kieran Donaghy is going to join us just after 8 o'clock this evening. Mainly going to talk basketball with him because he is part of the Tralee team that are top of the Men's Super League at the moment, ahead of the final 4 games of the regular season. We'll chat a little bit about Kerry football and the emergence of David Clifford as well. Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, they are on the course right now in LA. They're on level par into their back 9. They're 3 shots off the lead. They're sort of both grinding it out. Alan Shipnuck is keeping a very close eye in Riviera. He'll join us at around about 8:30. And on the football show, well, it is the eve of the new League of Ireland season, so Dan McDonnell will be with us just after 9 to look ahead to all of that. A little bit earlier today, two of your former international teammates were in studio.
Yeah. Not David McIntyre.
I have no idea why Dave was there, but he was there. He was showing the guns. If you check it out now,
his t-shirts are getting tighter. Honest to God, come on, Dave.
But the strange thing is, so last Friday there was no former professional sports person in studio, and Dave was completely covered up. There was no Brian O'Driscoll.
Oh, right, yeah, he does that, yeah. He does.
You weren't here, Keith wasn't here, so he was totally covered up. But once there's somebody who he thinks has been to the gym, what he's trying to do is say, you've been a professional sports person, I'm still in better shape than you.
Yeah, that's what he does, yeah.
What does that say about Dave?
Well, he's very vain, isn't he? He's a vain lad, but, you know, we let him off.
Put him away, love. Put him away.
Mm.
The Keith Andrews Show, it was live earlier today on all our social channels, youtube.com/offtheball, Twitter, everything. It's right up there now. And in a really good conversation, Keith and Kevin, about the Trapattoni era, about Euro 2012. And
it's actually really good, yeah.
Having a little bit too much fun, and it essentially been like a stag party in the team hotel for parts of Euro 2012. But while they were in studio, there was a tweet arrived in from one of his old teammates. Have a look at this.
Text in, a tweet in from your mate, one of your heroes. Is it true Clinton Morrison is your best strike man?
Me and
it's from Clinton Morrison. How are you, Clinton?
I really enjoyed coming in. Clinton was the one guy they were all nice to me, but Clinton was good fun when I came in, and friendly, and easy to talk to for me. And I remember we're talking about the Brian Kerr game. That game was at home to Switzerland, was his final game. We had to win. And it was me, Clinton and Gary Doherty on the bench, and Gary Doherty had done well for Ireland coming on as a striker,
very well.
and scoring some goals. But it was me, Clinton and Gary, and we needed a goal, and Brian turned around and said, "Doc, you're on," and put him on up front. And Clinton was sitting there beside me. When a goal was needed, he left the 2 strikers on and brought on the centre half to put him up front. And I always remember Clinton's reaction. He was, it was hilarious, but he was fuming. Because it was my first squad, I was just like happy to be there, and I was just sitting there. I was grand, but Clinton was going through the roof. It was funny to see in such a pressure situation as well, and you could tell, he was deserved to be rightly pissed off about it.
Yeah. Clinton, thanks for getting in touch. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so you can check out the Keith Andrews Show on all our social platforms. Definitely well worth a watch. Kevin Doyle, very interesting as well, and Concussion and a whole lot else besides. So I was watching that, and I was looking back through the archives then, and well, firstly, Clinton Morrison started that game, so I'm presuming what happened was Clinton was taken off with around 20 minutes left, and was sitting on the bench beside Kevin Doyle and Gary Doherty, and Clinton is wondering how the hell he's just been taken off, and Gary Doherty is the player who's been put on to save our skin.
There's probably a bit of that.
With 7 or 8 minutes
and Clinton
remaining.
was never shy. Clinton, lads would sit on the bench at times being substituted, and they'd sit there, wouldn't say too much. Clinton would let the manager know, no uncertain terms, that he should be out on that pitch still, if he was on the bench ready to come on, or if he'd just been taken off. So Clinton would have been quite vocal, I would imagine, there, yeah.
So I'm ill prepared for this show, even more so than normal, because for the last hour I got stuck in yet another YouTube wormhole where I put in Ireland 0, Switzerland 0, and what came up was glorious. It was glorious. It was Bill, it was Amo, it was Gilesy and Liam Brady in full flow.
Gold, was it?
Just have a listen to this.
We're making too many stupid fouls.
Instead of going for the ball.
What about having a German referee in a Swiss game? Is that a bit close to the
what are you implying, Bill?
It's not ideal, I don't think. But I wouldn't blame the referee, Bill, in what the Irish lads are doing. We've seen Kilbane give a couple of... That's mistaken enthusiasm. It's become silly, and it doesn't do you any favours. What you've got to do on the football pitch is do what's right.
Thanks, John.
What was the Giles he said?
Thanks,
That's
John.
mistaken enthusiasm. That's mistaken enthusiasm.
Mistaken enthusiasm. If you could sum up Kevin Kilbane's career in 2 words, mistaken enthusiasm is it.
There you go. There you go.
So the half-time is about 14. Well, because it was good old days with RTE, there was no ads at all, really. They just let the lads get at it. Billow implied that because the referee was German,
that was classic.
There might be some sort of bias towards the Swiss.
It's Eurovision commentary.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's class stuff, isn't it? That's gold.
They could literally go through, and they do post-match pretty much go through 1 to 11 and rip apart every single person's character.
I was probably like every other player as well. I went through a 15-year international career, 14-year international, and I never watched them once, never saw them once.
Having watched it just there, Kevin, I can tell you it's probably that was a wise idea.
No, but I think the lads would have been the same. It had no relevance to us on the pitch or in the dressing room. It didn't. We never even thought about it. And things would get relayed back to you from family and friends. Did you hear what he said about you? Whatever it would be. But
you think has that changed? Do the players now take more notice of what's been said about them?
Well, I think it's more. It's put out on Twitter straight away now, isn't it? So most of what's been said will probably be appearing in most of the players' feeds, so they'll see what's been said about them now. Whereas we wouldn't have had it. So when we're going to see it, we were never able to watch it back. There certainly would have been no Sky Plus or anything in those times as well. So we probably, in many respects, it's probably fortunate. We were fortunate of a time where we couldn't actually watch it back.
So this was the last game of the Brian Kerr era. A man who, more than any other Ireland manager, I think, wanted to be a success, wanted to get to the World Cup. We need to beat Switzerland, a pretty average Switzerland side at home. And instead of keeping your emotions in check, we've got a nutter running up the left wing with misplaced enthusiasm.
I was playing in midfield there, Nathan, holding a centre midfielder in that game, I would imagine.
Were you? I'm not so sure. I think John O'Shea was centre mid.
Was he? Could have been.
You were on the left wing.
I played a lot for Brian in midfield, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really remember the game. That's the thing. I just thinking back at it now. Yeah, not the best of games. Of course, it wouldn't have been with it being a 0-0 draw. And I think I just look back. I look back at maybe Brian's managerial time as real disappointment because I felt we had a good side and we should have achieved more. And Brian, again, I've said it before. For me personally, was great. I think he was an excellent coach. I think he was great from a man management point of view as well. So I just think that comes to the end of that campaign and it's like, it
was a very weird group in that we ended up finishing 4th. So I think we finished behind Israel, Switzerland and France by the end of the group with that draw. Like, obviously it was the home game against Israel that killed us, and Henry's little bit of magic. Ireland could do with a bit of mistaken enthusiasm these days. Far too many lads hiding during games now, says Ross and Athlone. I was in the stadium that night watching the game. I'm fairly sure I was just like John Johns. I said, abusing me. I was like, Kevin Kilbane, great lad. Just a little bit of misplaced enthusiasm. It's probably exactly how I put it, and everybody around me. Yeah,
I can imagine the language would have been a lot more, or a lot less, or certainly what John would have been saying. It would have been, I can only imagine what you'd have been saying about me, Nathan, anyway.
Yeah. So were you impressed with the English teams in Europe this week?
Yeah, I was. How can you not be? It was every one of them very good performances for different reasons. Tottenham, the game that I covered Tottenham were excellent. They were so good going forward. One of the best Tottenham performances that you could see in Europe. I mean, you think back at some of the games that it would have played. Of course, Real Madrid would be right up there at Wembley this season, but I think that showed the character within that side as well. 2-0 down. Juve don't let 2-goal lead slip. I think it was 99 was the last time they'd done it in Europe. I think that's what was said, and that was, of course, the famous game that United beat them in 99. So that says it all about Tottenham's character that they managed to turn that round. It was a great performance. City, again, I only saw the highlights. Yeah, it probably was. That was pretty much how we expected it to go. It was a pretty much run of the mill for City, normal performance. And Liverpool, in fairness, I fancy Liverpool to go there and destroy them. I thought with Porto coming out, they would come and attack. They'd fancy the chances in the first game rather than try to maybe contain.
Well, they didn't seem to know what they wanted to do in the end. It almost seemed as though they wanted to do what you're saying, but were also fearful and got caught in two minds. And in the end, it was a nothing performance.
It was, yeah. And the amount of times they were going back towards their own goal, and you watch Liverpool, it was 3-on-3s and 3-on-2s in Liverpool's favour from an attacking point of view. It was like, lads, come on, you can't do that against this side. These are as good as anyone in Europe, the way that they attack. That's why Liverpool are an outside bet. They have to be an outside bet for the Champions League.
Is it possible to score a hat-trick and not get a huge boost in confidence? I'm just looking at Sadio Mane last night.
Yeah.
He still looked like a guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yeah, he's not looked happy all season, has he? You and I were at the City game when he scored that cracker. He has been a little bit out, so he's not been in real top form like we'd seen last season. And that hat-trick, he's got to.
Did you see the story about Andy Robertson and getting the ball back to Sadio Mane? He was getting complimented by one of the Liverpool-based journalists. The tweet was something along the lines of, Andy Robertson proving again what a team player he is. Took the ball off a ball boy who thought he was going home with a souvenir to get it back to his teammate. The responses were, maybe let the 8-year-old kid have his souvenir rather than letting your multi-millionaire teammate have his little bit of nostalgia.
Do you think that? No. He scored a hat-trick in a Champions League. That'd be his first, I would imagine. I can't imagine him score a hat-trick before in a Champions League. That's something that he'll look back in when he's 30, 40 years time or whatever, when he's finished playing.
So the little kid.
Yeah, but he won't be able to get another ball, will he? That's his. I'm not having that, Nathan. I'm sorry. That's just a bit of respect. That's just knowing the situation there. It does mean things. I mean, you've seen Harry Kane's house with all the balls. I saw a photograph a while ago. All the match balls that he's got. He's got maybe 10, 15 match balls around him, whatever it would be, for the hat tricks he scored. They take pride of place in his house. So he's trying to take the match ball from a hat trick now.
I just don't have that killer instinct of a professional footballer.
You do on the radio though, Nate. As a journalist, you do, honestly.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks, yeah. Well, what's going on?
Europa League into the second half now at this stage. Arsenal are 2-0 up away to Östersunds of Sweden. Freezing conditions ahead of the game, but Arsenal have started well in that Europa League last 32 first leg being played in Sweden tonight. Nacho Monreal scored the first for the Gunners. He's in a real rich vein of form at the moment. An own goal then doubling their lead. The other games in the Europa League, Sporting have beaten Astana in the early game, coming from behind to win by 3-1. It's a goal apiece between Dortmund and Atalanta. AC Milan are 1-0 up at Ludogorets. Marseille 1-0 up at home to Braga. Nice lead against Lokomotiv Moscow by 2-1. Arsenal 2, Östersunds 1. It's 1-0 between Real Sociedad and Salzburg. And Athletic Bilbao lead away from home against Spartak Moscow by 3-0. There the games being played. They kicked off at 6 p.m. Celtic in action 8:05. Brendan Rodgers' side dropping into the competition after finishing third in their group in the Champions League. They host the Russian outfit Zenit St. Petersburg at Celtic Park. Zenit are managed by the former Man City boss Roberto Mancini. Brendan Rodgers ahead of the game says he's looking forward to taking on another top side after playing Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich in the group stage earlier this year.
We've always embraced every challenge, in this European adventure that we've had in the last couple of years, and we've got a reward by getting through the group stage, by getting to here now, and hopefully, as I said, over the two games we can perform very well and get a result.
So it turns out Östersunds have the worst goalkeeper in the history of football.
Oh, the goal! Anyone wouldn't have seen it. I don't want to say it, but it looks dodgy. That's all I'm saying. It looks dodgy. I'm reluctant to say it. Should I say? I'm more better on. But
it should be. We're not saying. It just looks like it was very bad goalkeeping, Kevin.
Yeah, it's bad goalkeeping. Yeah.
What happened?
He had it was a weak shot from was it Danny Welbeck, I think, with a weak shot, and he almost catches the ball, and then he seems to knock it back into play. And it's a tap-in then for Monreal. So
he's nervous.
Is it?
It's the biggest game of his career.
Yeah, there's an element of that.
Against Arsenal.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that then. Yeah, bit of nervousness around him. Yeah, the second goal as well. It doesn't look great. I don't think on Östersunds anyway.
No. So you're getting, what's the word? Alex McLeish getting the Scotland job.
Yeah, we just got word before we come in. Yeah, it looks like Alex McLeish has got the Scotland job. Yeah, that's it's quite a surprise.
Not the most exciting appointment in the world.
No, when did he have the Scotland job? It would have been the mid-2000s.
10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years ago,
yeah. It's quite surprising he's got that job. I don't know, it's where could they have gone? Obviously they wanted Michael O'Neill, made a big play to get him, didn't fancy it for whatever reason that was. So who else would there been? I mean, David Moyes was muted for a couple of months ago, wasn't he? And then obviously he's gone in now at West Ham, so it's just where they would turn to, really, I suppose. Would they go down the foreign coach route? Didn't work out with Bertie Vogts last time, so I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah, pretty.
McLeish was linked before they went to talk to Michael O'Neill. Obviously, they've been through two SFA presidents since then. Stuart Regan seemed to put everything onto it, and the guy who replaced him, whose name I can't even remember, lasted 6 days, I think, after that. So he's gone. So obviously they've gone back down the list.
It could always be worse is the motto that we can, and the moral we can take from Scotland. What else happening?
Sunderland say they'll pay tribute to former Republic of Ireland midfielder Liam Miller with a minute's applause ahead of their Sky Bet Championship game against Brentford this Saturday. The 36-year-old Corkman lost his battle with pancreatic cancer last week. Miller played 60 games for Sunderland, and their chief executive Martin Bain says it will give fans a chance to show their appreciation and pay their respects as well. In terms of the world rankings, the new ones are out. Republic of Ireland up one place to 31st. That's despite losing our World Cup qualification playoff against Denmark. Northern Ireland, who also missed out in the playoffs, slipped down to 26th place. The world champions Germany still on top, Brazil second, and Portugal in third place. Ireland were back to training for the first time since their win against Italy. Today it was an open training session at Dewberry Park in Athlone. Afterwards, head coach Joe Schmidt said he was confident that Tadhg Furlong, Ian Henderson and James Ryan will all be fit to face Wales. The forward trio sat out that open training session with Henderson and Furlong doing some individual work away from the group of the physios. Henderson took a knock to his quad muscle in the win against Italy. He was rested as a precaution. Ryan is nursing a niggle, while Furlong's hamstring tweak is not as bad as first feared. A scan has shown this week he only has a minor issue, and Schmidt says the tight head prop is a key player in his squad.
He's a starting player for the British and Irish Lions. That speaks volumes for the progress he's made over the last couple of years. And at the same time, John Ryan's played a fair bit for us, and Andrew Porter, the 77 minutes he was required to front four, I thought he did really well against Italy. What you've got to have is depth in your squad, and you've got to have confidence in that depth, and that's what we'll go to now. And if it's not required, that's all well and good. And if it is, we'll keep forging ahead with the players we do have available.
Little bit of a worry that both Ian Henderson and James Ryan didn't take part in the session today. I guess it is still 10 days away from the game, so you wouldn't be overly worried, but not good news for Robbie Henshaw.
No, it looks like his season's over, Nathan. Ireland without him for the rest of the championship at least, and he's unlikely to play for Leinster again this term. The centre is facing about 4 months on the sidelines after dislocating his shoulder against Italy. Henshaw's Leinster teammate Devon Toner says it's a blow both to country and province.
Robbie's proven over the last couple of years that he's been massive for any team he's played for. He was massive for Connacht. He's been massive for us for Leinster when he's come, and he truly is one of the great players. Saying that, I've always said we're very proud of the strength and depth that Joe has kind of delivered with the squad over the last couple of years, and whoever comes in to take his place is going to do a good job, and we're going to have faith in whoever comes in and does it. But Robbie is a big loss.
Yeah, bit of a disaster for Leinster considering they're playing Saracens in the European Champions Cup quarter-final and some other injury doubts over their players. Like, they're fortunate that Furlong doesn't seem to be as serious, but this is probably everything we've been saying after the pool stages. While Leinster have looked the best team in Europe for the first 6 games, 2 or 3 guys gone during the Six Nations against Saracens. Like, the favouritism could flip very quickly for that game. Yeah, and obviously Gary Ringrose hasn't played for quite a while. There's question marks as to whether he's going to play for Leinster this weekend as well. The interesting thing that Joe Schmidt said after he was talking about Henshaw is he said there's a chance Ringrose might actually play against Wales purely because he knows the system so well. He did say Chris Farrell is very much the front runner to replace Henshaw in the next game, but he said even if Ringrose isn't involved this weekend for Leinster, he could still be brought in from the cold to play against Wales straight away.
If he doesn't play, it wouldn't rule him out necessarily. Just because he knows what he's doing, he's slotted in, he was outstanding in the last Six Nations, so he would be an option, and he may spend a couple of days next week with us, and that will allow us to make a decision, and I'm pretty sure it'll be Leinster because he is due back.
Yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on some of the Pro 14 matches this week because quite a few of the Irish squad have gone back and we'll get a little bit of game time.
Yeah, I think 22 players in all have been released back to the provinces. So he's obviously reckons those who haven't got a chance against Italy or against France in the first 2 games need some game time for this weekend. Kieran Marmie and Quinn Rue among them playing for Connacht this weekend. They're on the bench for their game against Zebre. Finlay Beelum returns from a knee injury to make his 100th appearance for the province. Tommy Bowe is back in the Ulster team for their match against Edinburgh in Belfast as well. The golf, the Genesis Open, we're watching at the moment. Graham McDowell starting really well. Just before we went on air, he was 2 under after 12 holes, just 1 shot off the lead. Porter Carrington had started well as well. He was 1 under after 10. Rory McIlroy level par after 12, while Shane Lowry started really well. He was 2 under at a point, but has slipped back to 2 over after 11. Tiger Woods, who's also playing in McIlroy's group, level par after 12.
Well, that's all that matters. That's your headline. Come on, Tiger. What is Tiger doing? I've got to be honest, for the first 5-6 holes I was quite worried, because Tiger's driving at Torrey Pines last time out was woeful, some of the worst of his career, and certainly for the first 5-6 holes of this round it was a similar pattern, but then something just seemed to click and suddenly he's bombing it straight down the fairway, 320 yards.
It's good, yeah. Been watching a lot of it. Yeah, it's been very good. So he's looking good. I think I say McIlroy.
It's nice to see, isn't it? McIlroy and Tiger side by side, strutting down the fairway in the middle of LA.
There's a lot of excitement.
That's living.
You and Joe.
Justin Thomas. The two guys are having a stroll themselves.
Who's Justin Thomas?
Yeah.
Who's Justin Thomas? Grand, he might have won a major.
I got some new clubs myself today, Nath.
Oh, did you?
I got some new. Yeah. So I'm.
Will you be taking them to Luttrellstown?
Yeah, hopefully.
Fine golf course.
Hopefully, yeah. Very extremely fine golf course. Yeah. So hopefully be back out there myself in the next couple of weeks.
Did you splash out?
No.
Go big.
No, I didn't go big. No. It was actually a friend of a friend who bought these clubs. weren't necessarily working for him.
You bought second-hand clubs?
Yeah, second-hand clubs. Yeah.
Oh, surely someone would have sorted you out. But no, listen, ease
No.
yourself back in over the summer.
Yeah.
This Saturday on Off the Ball, we will be bringing you live updates from the RDS for Leinster against Scarlets in the Guinness Pro 14. And we want you to be there as well. We're giving away a pair of match tickets, pre-match lunch for two, a signed Leinster jersey and a Leia goodie bag with hand warmers to help you stay toasty, a speaker, sweets and a match programme. What a prize it is. To be given a chance of winning, just identify our mystery voice who wasn't impressed with how Tiger Woods was driving the ball today.
I was laughing at the whole situation. I think, it was pretty ridiculous.
It wasn't that bad now, was it?
I was laughing at the whole situation. I think, it was pretty ridiculous.
I'm struggling with that one, I gotta be honest with you. I'll need another listen. I'll have another listen in the next hour and we'll figure it all out. Text your name and your answer to 53106. We will announce the winner before the end of the show. It's all with thanks to Leia Healthcare, official health and wellness partner to Leinster Rugby. Do you know who it is?
No, I don't actually know.
Oh, it's a tough one. It's a good prize. That's why it's a tough one.
JP's breaking balls last couple of nights, honestly. The difficult ones. Yeah.
Give the listeners a chance.
Yeah.
Give them a chance, JP. The average man deserves to go. You know? You don't need to be a genius. We have plenty of... actually, the answer is written down right in front of me. I just completely missed it. Okay, I definitely wouldn't have got that. It doesn't sound like him, which makes it all the more difficult. What else is happening, Will?
Ruby Walsh set to step up his comeback from injury next week. He'll return to the saddle. The champion jockey has been out of action since suffering a broken leg after falling from Let's Dance at Punchestown in November. Walsh has said today he's feeling no real pain, but is being very conservative about his recovery in order to be fully fit for Cheltenham next month.
Yeah, he was on with Ger last week saying that, listen, as a professional jockey, you get back to kind of 90% and then you're fine. To get back to 100% pain-free would probably take you 6 months, which you're just never going to do.
Like you see them, don't you? The lads, broken collarbones, they're back on within weeks sometimes, aren't they? So you can imagine how they pass the medicals. I mean, you can imagine I think you've said it before, the lads have said it in the past, haven't they? You're almost kind of just, you're in a bit of pain when the doctor's giving you your medical, but I'm grand, I'm fine. And
what's the most pain you've ever played a game in?
The tough shoulder. I'd done my shoulder. I tried an overhead kick in training and it didn't go well. And I kind of felt funny, like on my arm and my shoulder. It didn't pop, but it was some sort of ligament damage in my shoulder, in between my shoulder and say collarbone here. So very, very so. Anyone that just touched me would have just been so. Yeah, I had an injection to play. Yeah.
I was reading about Robbie Henshaw that the injury he has is one of the most painful possible because you just can't sleep.
Yeah,
can't lie in it.
I never had that injury. I never broke a collarbone. I broke my collarbone. Never dislocated my shoulder. But you see the lads. I think she had done it once, and it's
that's no fun for a goalkeeper.
No, I know.
Jason Quigley is back.
He is. He's going to have his comeback fight in Boston on Easter Sunday. The Donegal middleweight's been out for a year now with a hand injury, almost a year to the day. When he gets back in the ring, he says he's buzzing to be back. An opponent yet to be confirmed for the unbeaten NABF champion in North America. He's currently 7th in the WBC World Middleweight rankings and 13 out of 13 so far. All
right, good stuff. Will be here throughout the evening with all the latest in the Europa League. Arsenal now 3-0 up away to Osterunds. I will bring you the score on that in a little while. We have a text in about the Osterunds keeper. Misplaced nervousness. It's a goalkeeper's lot.
That's mistaken enthusiasm.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
In association with the Air Sport app, allowing you to cast your favourite sporting action from your tablet or mobile phone straight to your TV.
Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
Coming up this Sunday at 6. We'll hear from the company whose technology is being used by the Irish rugby team during the Six Nations about how analytics can help prevent injuries and even identify future sports stars. There's a new taxi app in town. It's called Whistle, but how does it work? And of course, we'll answer your tech questions.
Tech Talk. Tech Talk. With Jess Kelly.
This Sunday from 6.
On News Talk.
With the AA's car insurance, you can now save €100 online. Switch today by visiting the aa.ie to get a quote. This offer will end on the 28th of February. Search AA Car Insurance. The AA. Let's go.
Discount will be automatically applied to all premiums quoted online. Minimum premium of €280 applies. AA Ireland Limited, trading as AA Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply.
The truth about real innovation is that it's hard to imagine how life was ever any other way. Like the emergence of hybrid as the inevitable alternative to diesel. And because Lexus has always anticipated the future, every new Lexus is 100% hybrid, boldly combining brave design and imaginative technology to produce stunning cars that deliver a powerful, effortless drive. Experience the ultimate in hybrid. Lexus. Experience amazing. Test drive the Lexus hybrid range and experience amazing at Lexus Blackrock, Ireland's largest Lexus retailer. Visit lexusblackrock.ie.
Hertz means car rental, right? But Hertz also means car sales. The Hertz sale means a massive range of cars, unmissable bargains, finance options with zero cash deposit and €2,000 minimum scrappage on trade-ins. Call into our showrooms in Dublin and Cork or online at hertzcarsales.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
News Talk's Happily Hired, brought to you by Jobii.
Jobii is a place where millions of talented people find their dream job. Here are some of the thousands of companies hiring this week. BCK are searching for an accounts assistant. Cubic Telecom need a head of legal compliance. And a chance to join the Flipdish family. They're looking for a customer support agent. To find your dream job or to make your next great hire, download the app or visit jobio.com today.
The weather. We certainly get enough of it here in Ireland. But sunshine? Well now, sin scéal eile. The fact is we just don't get enough sunshine. So we need to get our sunshine vitamin D from somewhere else. Switch to Avonmore Super Milk and you get all the daily sunshine vitamin D you need in just one glass. Our weather's not super, but that's okay. Avonmore Super Milk is.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Okay, as always, at this time on a Thursday night, we're joined on the line by John Giles. Evening, John.
Evening, Nathan.
So, a good week for the Premier League teams in Europe. We'll get to that in a moment, but we might start on Real Madrid against Paris Saint-Germain last night, which I know you were watching. Real have been pretty dominant in Europe for the last few seasons, but it's been a struggle at times this season in the league. Did you see enough last night to suggest they can go and win it for a third year in a row?
Well, they'll be there or thereabouts, Nathan. I think it happens to teams at certain periods in the managerial career of Zidane, for example, and Ronaldo, who's the leading player, that they, for some reason, switch off a little bit. And I think they've done that this year. But when it comes to the big matches, like the Champions League, Nathan, which is not like the league where there's a lot of matches, they can get together again and lift it. Because it's only for a short period, or a relatively short period anyway. And I think once the ability is there, then they can raise it, because we don't know what happens in clubs. Things, very, very little things can upset the whole morale of the team. Like Zidane was supposed to be under pressure. Ronaldo wasn't very happy about whatever he wasn't very happy about. And I think that obviously affects the dressing room. But when it comes to the big matches like this, for the Champions League, I think they can get together. So they would still be a big threat, I would imagine, in this competition.
Just on that, maybe flicking a switch when it comes to these big European nights. Great managers, are they able to avoid that? Are they able to keep and sustain a high level of consistency throughout a team's life cycle of 6-7 years? Or is it natural for all these great teams that you can have a dip of 6-7 months?
Well, it can happen. I mean, Ferguson did it for a long time at Manchester United, as we know, Nathan. But if you look at Conte's position now at Chelsea, where he did a brilliant job last year, won the league, and that was against Guardiola and Mourinho and Klopp and all the various people. But for some reason or other, probably we've spoken about before, the Matic situation where he was sold without his approval, let's put it this way, and I think that broke the spirit, or certainly damaged the spirit within the dressing room, because it can happen. You know, confidence and the spirit in the dressing room is very fragile, Nathan, and the slightest thing can knock it off. I think Conte's been knocked off by the Matic situation. We don't know what happened with Ronaldo. Apparently he wasn't pleased with them about there was some tax problem there that they didn't back him up. So we don't really know, but it can happen. But when you get together now for the Champions League matches, which is again a relative few matches, then they get that spirit back together for a short period. We had it at Leeds. I might have mentioned it before, Nathan. When I was at Leeds, after Don Reevy left, after won the league, and Brian Clough came in, and for various reasons, he didn't get on the right side, or the players didn't get on the right side of him, and we had a very, very bad start to the season. But when it actually came to the Champions League matches, now he had gone by then. We got together again for those matches, Nate, and actually we got to the final, although we were well down in the league. So we've got the old spirit back for those particular matches because there were relatively few. So it could happen. That could be happening with Real Madrid now.
And did you see that with Ronaldo last night? Like, we're talking about a guy who's just turned 33 but been able to score 2 goals last night, and the influence he had in those closing stages. Do you get the sense with Ronaldo that maybe it's only these big nights that are getting the best out of him?
Oh, definitely. You know, the big nights are made for Ronaldo. The matches are made for Ronaldo. Like even last night, I was watching it last night, Nathan, and it was typical. Like he hadn't had the kick of the ball or didn't influence the game that much in general play. Scores 2 goals. And that's his game, you know. My summing up of Ronaldo, like in general play, he's not bothered. He can't be bothered. But when it comes to scoring a goal or getting a position scoring, he's an absolute genius. And I think Ronaldo, we know he has a huge ego. So I think what happens in general play, he knows before he goes out on the pitch, Nathan, if you're the goal scorer, you're going to be the hero and you're going to be the star. And he concentrates on that all the time. So if after 50 minutes in a game, and I've seen him where he's hardly had a kick of the ball, it doesn't bother him. Whereas I've never known a player, with his ability, could go 15 minutes without touching the ball and not be bothered. But he can do it. And when it comes to a goal-scoring chance, in my opinion, he becomes a genius. And he scored 2 for them last night, you know. And over the year, done many goals he's blooming scored for him. He's scored loads and loads.
Well, he's over 100 in Europe now.
Yeah, that's in Europe alone, Nathan. So he's a phenomenon, a goal-scoring phenomenon. There's no doubt about that. But I think he fell out. There was some bit of a row going on there at the start of the season, and that could upset the whole dressing room. And he would be capable of doing that.